family behind Bob's Burgers *** when people think of Bob Belcher. They picture a hardworking father standing behind a grill, trying to keep his restaurant alive while his family turns every ordinary day into complete chaos. But Bob's Burgers didn't appear overnight. Neither did the family behind it. ** on part 2 of Bob's bio. ** we're picking up where we left off. Bob had already made the biggest decision of his life. He walked away from Big Bob's Diner, leaving behind the only kitchen he'd ever known. No guaranteed paycheck. No restaurant. No backup plan. Just a dream. A dream that seemed impossible. But one Bob refused to abandon. Walking away from his father wasn't just about opening another burger restaurant. It was about finding his own identity. For years, Bob had cooked someone else's recipes, followed someone else's rules, lived someone else's vision. Now, he wanted to prove he could build something entirely his own. That decision wasn't easy. He was leaving behind security for uncertainty, comfort for risk, family for independence. Most people would have stayed. Bob didn't, because deep down, he believed that burgers could be more than food. They could tell a story. Every recipe, every ingredient, every customer was another opportunity to create something memorable. That belief would eventually become the foundation of Bob's Burgers. But before Bob could build the restaurant, he would meet the person who believed in his dream before anyone else, Linda. Officially, the series tells us Bob met Linda while she was engaged to Hugo. Their first encounter became one of the funniest love stories in animation. Linda's engagement ring accidentally became tangled in Bob's mustache. Instead of an embarrassing moment, it became the beginning of a relationship that would change both of their lives forever. Sometimes, the strangest moments become the most important ones. Linda saw something in Bob that many people overlooked. She didn't see a struggling cook. She saw passion, dedication, and someone who genuinely cared about his craft. She believed in him long before Bob's Burgers ever opened its doors. Over the years, fans have filled in the gaps left by the series with their own theories about Bob and Linda's early relationship. One of the most popular fan theories suggests they actually met during their freshman year of college. According to the theory, their first meeting happened during a welcome party for new students, where mutual friends introduced them inside a dormitory. Some fans believe the connection was instant, built around shared conversations, a love of food, and a mutual appreciation for simple things in life. Another theory suggests September 3rd became a meaningful date in their relationship, with some fans treating it as the anniversary of that first meeting. None of these details have been confirmed by the creators of *Bob's Burgers*, but they remain some of the most popular fan discussions surrounding Bob and Linda's origin story. Whether those theories are true or not, one thing isn't up for debate. Linda became the person who encouraged Bob to chase the dream he almost convinced himself to give up on. She didn't ask him to settle. She didn't ask him to choose the safer path. She believed that if anyone could build a successful restaurant, it was Bob Belcher. And sometimes, having just one person believe in you is all you need to change your life. With Linda by his side, Bob stopped wondering if he should follow his dream now. The only question was how he was going to make it happen. Bob had spent his entire life learning the art of making burgers. Some lessons came from experience. Others came from years of standing beside his father behind the grill. But one question has continued to spark debate among fans for years. Where did Bob actually learn to cook? The truth is, The series never gives us a clear answer. Bob's educational background has always remained a mystery. That mystery has led to one of the most popular fan theories in the Bob's Burgers community. Some fans believe Bob attended a culinary arts school before opening his own restaurant. Supporters of this theory point to his impressive knowledge of cooking techniques, his understanding of quality ingredients, and the creativity behind his recipes. To them, Bob doesn't cook like someone who simply learned on the job. He cooks like someone who truly studied the craft. Other fans completely disagree. They believe Bob's real education happened inside Big Bob's diner. Years of flipping burgers, working long shifts, and learning directly from his father gave him all the experience he needed. No matter which theory you believe, one thing is certain. Bob isn't just making burgers. He's creating something personal. Every recipe reflects his personality. Every special ingredient reflects his imagination. That's exactly why customers never know what they'll find on the menu next. The famous burger of the day isn't just a clever joke. It's Bob expressing himself. For him, every burger tells a story. Every new recipe is another chance to make someone smile. That's what separates Bob from almost every other restaurant owner in television. He isn't chasing awards. He's chasing the perfect burger. Another mystery fans love discussing is Bob's birthday. The show has never officially revealed the exact date he was born. Because of that, viewers have tried piecing together clues from Bob's personality. One of the biggest theories is that Bob would be a Taurus. He's patient, loyal, hardworking, stubborn. He values stability, family, and good food. Those traits have led many fans to believe Taurus fits him perfectly. While it has never been officially confirmed, it's become one of the most accepted fan theories surrounding Bob's character. Then there's another small detail many longtime viewers have noticed: blue. Throughout the series, blue appears over and over again. It's present in Bob's clothing, his everyday style, and even elements of the restaurant itself. The show has never officially stated that blue is Bob's favorite color. Still, many fans believe it is. They see blue as a reflection of Bob's personality: calm, dependable, honest. Someone who finds comfort in simplicity rather than attention. Whether intentional or simply part of the show's design, it's become one of those details fans love pointing out. As the years passed, Bob's dream became clearer. He no longer wanted to work for someone else. He wanted a restaurant where every decision belonged to him. Every burger would carry his name. Every customer would experience his passion. Every success and every failure would belong to him alone, with Linda standing beside him. That dream finally started becoming reality. The two found a modest storefront on Ocean Avenue. It wasn't luxurious. It wasn't perfect. In fact, most people probably would have walked right past it without giving it a second look. But Bob saw something different. He saw possibility. He saw the restaurant he'd imagined for years. Every dollar they had went into making that dream come true. The grill, the booth, the kitchen, the counter, everything they owned was invested in one small burger restaurant. It was a huge risk. Failure wasn't just possible. It felt almost inevitable. But Bob wasn't chasing certainty anymore. He was chasing purpose. After years of sacrifice, late nights, and endless preparation, the restaurant was finally ready. The doors were about to open. Bob's dream was about to become real. What he didn't know was that opening day would also become one of the biggest days of his life for an entirely different reason. The morning Bob's Burgers was finally ready to open. Everything had led to this moment. Years of sacrifice, years of hard work, years of believing in a dream that many people thought would never happen. The grill was ready. The restaurant was prepared. The doors were about to open, then. Life surprised Bob once again. On the same day Bob's Burgers officially opened, Linda went into labor. Instead of spending the day greeting customers, Bob found himself rushing to welcome someone even more important into the world. Their first child, Tina Belcher. What should have been the biggest business day of Bob's life became the biggest family moment he would ever experience. Looking back, it's hard to imagine it happening any other way. From the very beginning, Bob's Burgers wasn't just built around burgers. It was built around family. As the years passed, the Belcher family continued to grow. Jean was born. Then came Louise. 3 children, each completely different from the next. Tina was thoughtful, awkward, and endlessly determined to be herself. Jean brought music, energy, and creativity into every room he entered. Louise, the youngest, was fearless, brilliant, and always one step ahead of everyone else. Together, they transformed a simple restaurant into something much bigger than a business. The kids grew up behind the counter. They spent afternoons in the booths. They played in the dining room after closing. The restaurant became their classroom, their playground, and their second home. For the Belchers, there was never a clear line between family life and work. Everything happened inside Bob's Burgers. Birthdays, arguments, celebrations, failures, and unforgettable memories. That's one of the reasons audiences have connected with the Belchers for so many years. They are imperfect. They struggle. They make mistakes. But no matter what happens, they face it together. Of course, owning a small restaurant has never been easy. Business is often slow. Bills continue to pile up. The rent always seems to come due at the worst possible time. Equipment breaks down. Unexpected problems appear almost every day. For many people, those challenges would have been enough to walk away, not Bob. Every morning, he unlocks the front door, turns on the grill, and starts again. Not because it's easy, because it's who he is. Bob never opened his restaurant hoping to become famous. He never dreamed about building a nationwide franchise. He simply wanted to make great burgers, serve honest food, and provide for the people he loves. That dream has never changed. It's also one of the reasons Bob has become one of television's most relatable fathers. He doesn't have superpowers. He doesn't win the lottery. He doesn't suddenly become successful overnight. Instead, he keeps showing up. He works hard. He believes in himself. And he refuses to let failure define him. Maybe that's why so many people see a little bit of themselves in Bob Belcher. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Dreams take longer than expected. Success rarely happens overnight. But as Bob reminds us, sometimes the most meaningful victories aren't measured by money. They are measured by the people who stand beside you, by the family you've built, and by the passion you refuse to give up. Whether you're a lifelong fan of Bob's Burgers, or you're just discovering Bob's story for the first time, one thing becomes clear. Bob Belcher didn't build a successful life because everything went right. He built it because he kept moving forward, even when everything seemed to go wrong. And maybe that's the real origin of Bob Belcher. Not the day he opened a restaurant. Not the day he met Linda. Not even the day he left his father's diner. The real beginning was the moment he chose to believe in himself. Thank you for joining me for *** Part 2 of Bob's Bio ***. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the man behind the grill, the family behind the restaurant, and some of the fan theories that continue to spark conversations throughout the Bob's Burgers community. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, ***, which Bob Belcher moment made you appreciate his character the most. ***, and if you have a favorite Bob's Burgers fan theory, I'd love to hear that too. Because next time, we're diving into an entirely different side of Bob's story. We'll explore his unforgettable rivalry with Jimmy Pesto, his complicated relationship with Mr. Fiscoder, the financial struggles that constantly threaten the restaurant, and the moments that prove why the Belcher family never gives up. I'm Bella, and I'll see you in part 3 of Bob's Bio.